Hey guys, I'm going to be doing a pod test today. Today I have Aji Habanero. I don't know how they got the habanero name. This Aji Habanero is neither a capsicum chinense like your normal habaneros, nor does it particularly taste like a habanero. No matter what color, most of the habaneros that I try all have a similar habanero-like flavor. This one does not. So it's a capsicum baccatum. They're very, very mild, quite fruity, nice tasting. But the most notable point about this chili, the plant that I grew outside this year, it just produced tons of pods. I've had maybe 80 or 100 pods between about an inch and 3 inches long. They're ripened to this kind of orangey color. There's been 80 to 100 pods on the plant at a time. The plant grew to about 3 feet tall, and just covered in these little things. They're probably one of the best producers I've ever had as far as chili plants go. The flavor on them I do quite enjoy. They're very good in salsa, but they do not have a particularly huge amount of heat. So yeah, capsicum baccatum. So it's got that typical kind of appley, slightly smoky smell to it. Here's what it looks out on the inside. Very yellow on the inside. Kind of normal amount of seeds. Nothing oily and scary looking on the inside. Yeah, slightly smoky. The smell on the aroma is very similar to Brazilian starfish. So it's a pretty typical aji flavor, and the aji flavor is a flavor that some people just do not like. I'm not one of them. I do quite enjoy ajis, because they're very good in using them fresh. You can make salads or ceviche and use them fresh, whereas a lot of chilies really need to be cooked to enjoy them. Cooked or dried or pickled. These are good, as are. That's kind of one of the best things that I found about baccatum so far. So yeah, let's give it a try. This is the Aji Habanero. Cheers. Very vegetal at first. It's quite interesting to chew on because it goes through a lot of different stages of different aromas. At first it was very vegetal, then it had a slight smoky hint, a slight appley hint, and then for a split second there was just kind of a touch of papaya in it as well, which I was pleasantly surprised with. There's quite a nice flavour in the mix of everything that's going on in there. They're quite juicy. They're not as juicy as some of the baccatums that I've had, and they have quite a good acidity to them. The acidity leaves your palate ready to receive more food, actually, which is something that I recently I found very important with food and with beer and with wine, that if something doesn't have enough acidity or just a little bit of kick, a little bit of bitterness, it doesn't particularly bring me to eat more of it. You know, I find things get sickly if they don't have a little bit of zing to them, and this definitely has a nice amount of acidity to it. Not hugely sharp. The aftertaste is actually quite grassy, which I think the only other chili that I've had that reminded me of grassiness is the Korean gochu. There's a slight hint of grassiness in the finish of this. But I have had a fair amount of taste variation on the pods on the plant. It seems if you pick them when they're very ripe, the flavour is very different from when they're fresh. So when the pods are on the plant, they're a kind of pale lime green colour, and they turn yellow, and then they turn a darker yellow / light orange colour. The one that I tried just now is a very ripe one. They do start to wrinkle up quite a bit once they're ripe and they've been left on the plant too long. I mean, there is nothing to comment about heat-wise. I think at the start of the season I had one that had a little bit of sizzle to it, but really not at all. It's very much a sweet chili. There's almost no heat whatsoever to it. The aftertaste on it right now is very vegetal, quite enjoyable, and that's why, you know, I said before, like, I like putting this into salad because it blends in very well. It adds a bit of fruitiness, a bit of, you know, into something that's quite vegetal. Salad is about as vegetal as it gets, and it blends in very well with that. The fact that the plant also produces, you know, hundreds of pods throughout the season is also a bonus. You know, you can just slice it up, put it in salsa, put it in salads, put it in ceviche, but there's not really any heat to it. So great chili for people to grow who want to grow chili plants but don't have very high tolerance for heat yet. It's a very pretty looking plant. They do grow quite tall though. They're definitely not something that you want to be growing on your windowsill indoors. The plant that I've got kind of 3 foot tall and was kind of like a upside down triangle shape. It just, you know, almost like a half collapsed umbrella it looked like, with a canopy on top and just thick with pods. Really fantastic producer. I really like the taste of this chili because it's probably the first, it's not the first baccatum, but it's slightly different to the normal baccatum taste, where most of the baccatums I try I just say they taste like apple peels, and they taste like apple peels over and over again. This is much more vegetal. It's slightly less juicy, and it has kind of the acidity makes you want to try more of it, which I do quite appreciate in food. So as there's no burn to talk about, I think I've said everything I can say about the flavour. I'm going to leave that there. So that was the Aji Habanero. Cheers.